Hi, Bobcats. It's Miss Ortiz again. Today's theme is Shout It Out, Reading is Power. And you should be wearing neon. And of course, you all know that's my favorite phrase at school. Reading is power. It's even on my bulletin board. Once you get back, you'll get to see it. But anyway, so today I wanted to share with you a story called They Call Me Guero. I read this one I believe it was last year, and it's from author David Bowles. I know that students through your ELAR reading classes, you you might have seen author Adam Gidwitz and the Unicorn Rescue Society with author David Bowles and Emma Ortegay. And so David Bowles has been to our campus, and he also wrote The Chupacabras of the Rio Grande, which the setting is in Laredo, Texas. So shout out to that book and to the authors, Adam Gidwitz and David Bowles, for loving Laredo so much that they wanted to add Laredo as a setting. It's an awesome book. Check it out. We have a ton of copies at the library. But this one is especially nice too. It's won a ton of awards, and it's Border Kids Poems by David Bowles, and it is Hispanic Heritage Month too, so we celebrate that. And so anyway, They Call Me Guero. It's a fast read. It's super good, about a middle school student who just tells his tales about being a middle school student in a border town. Okay, but before I do, if you do like They Call Me Guero, we do have it at the library. And we do have a whole bunch of David Bowles' books. You go to our Destiny Discover and type in David Bowles, and you'll see that They Call Me Guero is in Curbside. And he also writes a whole bunch of these from the Stories That Must Not Die. He rewrites them, and they're short. They're short stories. Strange Texas Tales That Never Die, part 1 and part 2. And then there's even The Ghosts of Laredo. He writes a story in here with Pat Anderson. Ghosts of South Texas, there's more. Okay, and we also have The Stories That Must Not Die. And then this one, Creature Feature. My favorite story here is about the boyfriend who disappears on a travel with his girlfriend. They're traveling, and something happens. So we also have other scary stories. This one is Texas Ghost Stories by 50 Favorite for the Telling by Tim Tingle and Doc Moore. Anyway, so this one you'll see the La Llorona too, and the Children of the Tracks, the one in San Antonio, that myth, could be a truth, I don't know, about the kids who were on the bus. So the story is in here. But anyway, so if you want to check any of these out, they're checked out right now because they're checked out to me, but you're more than welcome. I'm going to turn them in. They're already turned in by this time that you're watching the video. So you can just send me an email or do curbside and ask me for the books. First come, first serve, of course. So today I'm going to be reading just one part of They Call Me Guero. Again, it's by David Bowles. And the story I chose, the chapter I chose was La Mano Pachona. And I believe we've heard that story so many times. I think all of us out there have heard different versions of La Mano Pachona. And so this is the story told by David Bowles in the book, They Call Me Guero, a Border Kids Poems. Here we go. La Mano Pachona. Last week between classes, me and Los Bobbies ducked into the restroom. I needed to go so bad, but froze at the entrance to the stall, craning my neck, peering into the toilet. What the heck, Guero? They asked Bobby Delgado, and my face went red with embarrassment. Fam, I'm just checking, okay? Some guys forget to flush. The other Bobbies laughed. That wasn't really the truth. I was still afraid of a supernatural threat. 8 years ago, my abuela Mimi told us a tale that left a lasting mark. I kind of deserved it. I was the smallest back then, sat behind my cousins as Mimi told the scariest stories she could muster, legends already old, when she was a little girl. But I was mischievous for my size, reaching out to snatch cookies off my primo's plates as they leaned forward, eyes wide, eagerly hanging on every frightening word. As I shoved galletas down my mouth, Mimi's eyes would narrow and narrow some more, and I could almost hear her thinking, You sneaky brat. Huerco ladrón. Just wait and see. For my grandma didn't spank us. She hardly ever raised her voice. No, to punish us little devils, she would put us in some creepy tale, as I was about to discover. A new story, she announced one week, about La Mano Pachona. I shivered while other boys cheered. This legend scared me the most. A hairy claw that crawls through the dark? Mimi once told us the claw had belonged to a Maya wizard who long ago refused to renounce his people's gods. So the Inquisition cut off his limbs, not knowing he'd cast a spell on his left hand. Now it sneaks its revenge, waiting for naughty boys with Spanish blood. Watch out, guys. Like each of you, Mimi would say, with a glint of glee in her eyes, as we gulped and gasped. On that day, she said she'd reveal the identity of one of its victims. Once upon a time, there was a güerito, sinful and travieso, who liked to steal sweets that didn't belong to him. My cousins giggled. They knew what was coming. But at last, the red-haired bingo ate his final cookie. He swallowed that stolen crunchy goodness and felt his tummy rumble. Potty time. Next page. Up he went to run down the hall, singing a foolish tune to himself. Ha ha ha, I stole your cookie. Ha ha ha, you didn't catch me. How many have done that, right? To your brothers and sisters. You take their cookies. Don't do that. Then he entered the bathroom. Shutting the door, he dropped his pants and sat down to do his business. But pobre güerito, big mistake. He should have looked down before he sat. Maybe his fate would have changed. For there, waiting for him deep in the water at the bottom of the bowl, was La Mano Pachona. It reached up and grabbed him and pulled him into the sewer. He was never seen or heard from again. My face went white as a sheet. Just a runt, I believed her every story with absolute truth. So this had to be prophecy. No, abuelita, I cried, shaking. Don't let La Mano Pachona grab my butt. You see, that was the worst thing of all. Not being dragged away and killed. No, not that. I mean, let's be honest. I'd be famous. Imagine the headlines. Border kid slain by monster claw. Yes, immortality. But not border kid has butt grabbed by monster claw. What you middle schoolers think about, right? Mimi leaned towards me as I trembled, snot bubbling in my nose, button nose. Then stop stealing cookies, you naughty little thief. And so I did, forever. Still, the best part of me, foolish I know, that can't help but wonder if she could see the future. And if one day I'll sit down and meet my destiny at last. I hope you enjoyed this short story. It's a book, and he writes all about his middle school days growing up at the border. And so that's us. We live at the border. You could also find his book, They Call Me Guero, on Mac and Via. I will be returning it today. But like I said, so anybody who wants to check it out, first come, first serve. I'm checking it in this morning during announcements as you all are listening to this story, so that whoever wants to check it out, you can. And like I said, it's a fast read. It took me just maybe an hour to read it because it's told in poetry style. And remember that we do have it up for grabs at our library, and you can do that via curbside style. Or you can check out any of his other books. I will be returning these by the time that you've already seen this video. Another thing that I'll share with you today, The Power of the Mind, is the website and the YouTube video of one of my favorite authors, Sean Elliott Russell, who came to our school a few years ago. I think my 8th graders were 6th grade at that time. And I just want to show you my 7th and 6th graders, The Power of the Mind. And it's a story called Be Still, Little Tree, Be Still. It's an elementary book, but he wraps it and he reads it to us. and it's just about being calm during the storm. And so just being mindful of just resting, just breathing in and breathing out during these times. So I hope you enjoy Be Still Little Tree, Be Still, as well as some of his there's some music, calming music for you all today as well there in his. And you can subscribe to his channel, and he has a lot of awesome, positive things to share with you. I love Sean Elliott Russell. He's from the Valley too. So is David Bowles. They're from McAllen. So have a wonderful day, boys and girls, teachers out there, the same thing. Listen to the stories and enjoy them. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you again tomorrow.